Breaking news, AJ Styles indefinitely suspended and Dominik Mysterio retiring due to injury. What is going on? We're going to expose it. We're going to explain it. We're going to get into it. All the rumors, the news, the gossip, the hearsay, the speculation. Tonight, the final Monday Night Raw of 2025. What is going on? What's the headlines? What's the backstage innuendo? We're going to cover it all. Remember to become a channel member today. Remember to hype up the video and donate with a super thanks donation in the comment section by using your credit card today. Now, AJ Styles, why would he be suspended by the WWE, especially when he's going to be retiring next year? And next year is only a couple of days away. And what is going on with Dominik Mysterio? Now, we all know that Dominik Mysterio is a double champion. He holds not one but two championships under the red brand of Raw. Why would he retire? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to break down all the details right here in what is going to be a blockbuster video for each and every one of you. At least that's what the WWE wants us to believe tonight during what will be the first hour of Raw tonight. But the twist that just happened is going to change everything. Strap yourselves in, because we are going to witness perhaps the most emotional, manipulative, psychological, complex, and brilliant 2 hours or 2.5 hours of television in WWE history tonight on Raw. Now what started as a disciplinary hearing ended as one of the greatest heel turns or returns I have ever seen. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're watching this, you are probably still trying to pick your jaw up off the floor after what we are going to witness and what I'm going to explain and what I'm going to get to right here on the Red Brand of Raw on Netflix. Are you anticipating a lot? Are you expecting a lot from Raw tonight? We need to deep dive this, because this wasn't just a wrestling angle. This was a masterclass in blurring the lines between reality and fiction, using real-life outrage to fuel a storyline and taking the audience on an absolute emotional roller coaster. We come into tonight knowing that the tension was at an all-time high. We know the story. We saw the footage that broke during the weekend of AJ Styles in the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. The elephant in the room was massive. Unless you've been living under a rock, you saw the viral video over the weekend. WWE was at a live event, and a fan in the front row who, let's be honest, was trying to provoke a reaction, held up a very large, very obvious replica of the AEW World Championship in AJ Styles' face. Now, 10 years ago, a wrestler would have just ignored it, but we live in the social media era. AJ Styles, clearly frustrated, snapped, grabbed the replica, threw it on the ground, and stomped on it, shattering parts of the faceplate. Although, that's what some would want you to believe. No, the fan actually handed him the AEW. Actually, that would have been a better way to do it. That actually should have been what AJ Styles should have done. That's what AJ Styles should have done. But no, the fan wanted AJ Styles to sign the AEW World title at a WWE live event. And AJ Styles says, I love you, but this ain't happening. It ain't going this way. Now, AJ Styles refused to sign the AEW World's Heavyweight Championship. The internet immediately melted down. Half the fans were saying, hell yeah, AJ Styles protects the business. This is WWE's house. The other half says, the younger generation were saying, it's just the belt. AJ is an insecure boomer who refused what could have been a PR nightmare for old WWE weekend. TKO stock actually dipping the morning because of the bad press. So we tune into Monday Night Raw tonight, expecting something to happen. We expect a slap on the wrist, maybe an on-screen apology from AJ Styles' refusal to sign the AEW World title brought in by a fan at a WWE live event. We did not expect the absolute dismantling of reality that we actually got following this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Monday Night Raw is expected to open cold. No intro music, just Adam Pearce standing in the ring, looking like he hasn't slept in 3 days. The heat for Pearce was nuclear because the crowd knew what was coming. Pearce didn't mince words. He laid out the corporate law. He called AJ Styles' actions over the weekend an embarrassment to our partners, a violation of code conduct, and a stain on the image of the company. And then he dropped the hammer. AJ Styles is officially suspended indefinitely without pay for refusing to sign merchandise for a fan at a WWE live event, a holiday tour. Now think about the gravity of that. Suspending one of your top stars before they're about to retire, especially one half of the tag team champions, indefinitely on live TV, on Raw, on Netflix, because of something that happened involving a rival's company belt. It felt incredibly real. It felt like WWE was trying to get ahead of a legitimate scandal. And then AJ Styles comes out. And folks, this was some of the best mic work of AJ's career. He wasn't wearing ring gear. He was in a hoodie and jeans, and he looked like a man on the edge. He didn't apologize. He doubled down. He then cut this incredible fiery promo about how he was protecting his house from disrespect. He talked about busting his backside for 25 years across TNA and WWE, ROH, only to be told he's obsolete because he doesn't play nice with the internet community. He framed himself as the last of a dying breed, the last guy who actually gives a damn about loyalty and the sincerity of the WWE Championship. Now, this was compelling because AJ Styles tapped into a real sentiment that a lot of older wrestling fans and probably older wrestlers feel right now, the feeling of being pushed out by a new generation that doesn't respect the tradition. When escorted AJ Styles out, he was walking backward up the ramp, flipping off the corporate offices in the back. I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I thought, wow, they are turning AJ into the ultimate anti-hero martyr. But guys, this was nothing compared to what happened next, because that was just the appetizer, viewers. That was just the appetizer. But guys, remember to like, hype, subscribe, become a channel member today. It's so important to the channel's future. We're going through tough, rough, dark times on YouTube right now with all this AI slop going on. And content creators actually put out real content, real effort, real time are being buried on this site. So it has not been a good last few months for show and view. So if you can donate, click the bell, subscribe, become a channel member. It will really help out the channel, especially with all the heart, time, and hustle. You do not want me to become homeless, because I am facing homelessness right now due to all the dynamics, all the economics of this, or should I say the downturn of this website. After commercial break, the arena went dark. The Judgment Day's music hit, but it was a slower, more somber tone. Rhea Ripley came out. Now, we all know the history between Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day. We certainly know the past between Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. They certainly are not seeing eye to eye. However, this changes the entire complexity of everything. Rhea Ripley comes out, and her eyes were visibly red from crying. Damian Priest also looked like he was walking to a funeral. And then Dominik Mysterio walked out, the double champion that he is, the Intercontinental Champion and the AAA Champion. No swagger, no mullet toss, no wearing his protective black suit, a heavy-duty neck brace, and his left arm was in a complex sling strapped to his body. The place went silent. This is Dominik Mysterio, with a guy who usually can't get a word in edgewise because the boos are so loud, they're so deafening. Tonight, you could hear a pin drop. Obviously, there was something different. There was an aura in the air. They get in the ring, and the atmosphere was just heavy. Priest held the ropes for him. Rhea was rubbing his back. It all felt wrong. Dom grabbed the microphone, and his voice was trembling. He was openly sobbing. He started talking about a tag team match on Raw. He felt something pop in his neck. He tried to work through it because that's what Mysterios do. And then he dropped the bombshell that absolutely shattered everyone watching. He announced that doctors met with him this morning. He had severe nerve damage and vertebrae compression, according to rumor and speculation. This may be what happens tonight. This could be what happens tonight. And at 28 years old, Dominik Mysterio announced that he is forced to retire from in-ring competition. It was heartbreaking. I don't care how much you hate this character work. Nobody wants to see a kid in his prime of his life having it taken away. We got flashbacks to Edge in 2011. To Paige, to Bryan Danielson. It felt all too real. And the amazing thing was the crowd reaction. The same crowd who booed him 10 minutes earlier started a hesitant and then loud, "Thank you, Dom" chant. It was one of those rare moments in wrestling where humanity transcends the storyline. We were watching a young man's dream die on live television on Raw in front of millions of people. At that moment, I was fully convinced AJ Styles was suspended for being a hothead, and Dominik Mysterio's career was tragically cut short on the same night. Two separate earth-shattering stories. Or so we thought, viewers, or so we thought. This is where the brilliance of the writing kicked in. This is where the thread started to connect in a way that nobody saw coming. We cut backstage after the commercial break. Adam Pearce is walking down a hallway, looking stressed about AJ Styles, when suddenly he gets slammed against the wall by Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley gets right in Pearce's face, screaming, and what she said changed the entire complexity of the night. She screamed, "Are you devastated about Dominik Pearce? Because you just let the man who did it walk out of the building with a slap on the wrist. Because you just let the man who did it walk out of the building with a slap on the wrist." Pearce was confused. We were all confused. Dom said it happened in a match. Then Priest dropped the hammer. He said that they watched the tape last week. They claimed the injury happened during a Styles clash from AJ Styles. They said AJ didn't tuck Dom's head properly. They called it reckless. They called it negligent. And then Rhea connected the dots on the weekend. She screamed that AJ didn't snap at that show because he hates AEW or because he's defending WWE's honor. She claimed AJ snapped because the guilt of breaking Dominik Mysterio's neck was eating him alive all weekend. That he was a man mentally breaking down because he knew he ended a kid's career and he knew he was coming to the end of his own career. AJ Styles retiring in 2026. Suddenly, the entire narrative shifts on a dime. AJ Styles wasn't a martyr protecting the business anymore. In an instant, he became a dangerous, bitter old liability who was lashing out and hurting people. The suspension suddenly felt justified, even lenient. It was masterful storytelling because it used real-life incidents over the weekend to validate the storyline injury. Of course, AJ was acting crazy at the live event. He was guilty. It made perfect sense. What brings us to the climax of the evening, the final segment. Dominik Mysterio in the ring, alone, taking his final bow. The crowd is giving him a standing ovation. He's crying, waving his good old arm. Suddenly, there's commotion at ringside. Security is getting tossed aside. It's AJ Styles. He jumped the barricade. He's still in his hoodie. He is still technically suspended. He scrambles into the ring. Dom looks terrified. He backs into a corner, clutching at his broken neck, his neck brace, looking like a wounded animal. AJ Styles gets on the microphone. He's breathless. He's crying too. And AJ Styles, the man who spent the opening segment defiant and angry, is broken. He tells Dom, kid, listen to me. I was already in the parking lot when I heard the news on social media. You could see the distress in AJ's face. He said, I don't know. I swear on my family's life, I didn't know. Last week, if I touched you wrong, if it slipped, I'm sorry. You have to believe it was an accident. I was angry at the world, but I never meant to end your career. AJ said, I'm suspended. I might be done here forever, but I wouldn't leave without telling you I'm sorry. AJ Styles extended his hand in a genuine gesture of apology. The tension in the arena was palpable. Dominik looked at AJ's face, and he shook his hand. Well, he was thinking about it. The hand was out there. The shake was out there. And he looked at AJ Styles' hand. He looked at the crowd. He looked at the sling. And then in a moment that gave me chills, Dominik Mysterio slowly reached out with his good hand and shook AJ Styles' hand. The crowd shared. It was a beautiful moment of respect amidst tragedy. Two enemies putting aside the differences because some things are bigger than wrestling. AJ nodded, sniffling, and turned to leave the ring to give Dom his final moment in the spotlight. AJ gets to the ropes. He's about to step through. And then crystal clear, over the arena speakers, Dominik Mysterio says, hey, AJ. AJ stops. He turns back around confused. Dominik Mysterio standing tall in the center of the ring. The tears are gone. His face is stone cold. Slowly, deliberately, Dom reaches up, unbuckles his neck brace. He takes it off and throws it on the ground. The crowd gasps. Then he slides his injured left arm out of the complex sling. He rolls his shoulder, flexes his bicep. He looks AJ Styles dead in the eye, a vile smirk spreading across his face, and says, I'm fine, you idiot. The amount of heat in the building could have melted steel. It was an instantaneous realization for everyone watching. It was all a work. It was all a work. Dominik Mysterio then grabbed the mic as AJ stood there, paralyzed by shock and rage. Dom starts laughing, a cruel, manic crackle. He screamed, my neck is fine. My arm is fine. The only thing wrong with me is that I am sick of you old fossils taking up my airtime. He admitted everything. He said, you didn't hurt me last week, AJ. I sold it so good the doctors bought it. I sold it so good these idiots in the crowd bought it. And then he revealed the depth of his plan. He said, I knew you were on edge already in management and going to retire. I knew you were cracking. I figured if I faked a career-ending injury and blamed you for it, the guilt would make you finally snap. Dom pointed right in AJ's face and yelled, and look at that. You went to a house show this weekend, saw a stupid belt, and you lost your mind because you felt guilty. He screamed, I retired you, AJ. I played you like a fiddle. Get out of my ring. Get out of my company. AJ, his face turned beet red with fury, lunged for Dominik, but it was too late. The Judgment Day's music hit fast. Priest and Rhea sprinted from under the ring where they had been hiding the whole time, and they absolutely massacred AJ Styles, one half of the former WWE Tag Team Champions. Priest hit a massive chokeslam. Dom put the neck brace back on just to whip AJ with it. They left AJ lay in the middle of the ring, suspended, humiliated, and beaten while they celebrate up the ramp. Guys, I am standing here giving you, I'll tell you, I am standing here giving this a standing ovation. This was masterful storytelling. If this is indeed the direction or the way the WWE goes in, but there is a belief that this injury is actually real to Dominik Mysterio and that he may have to forfeit his championships tonight on Raw. There's actually a real fear. Now, this was going to be one of the storylines going because we all know Dominik Mysterio has feigned and faked an injury before, right? He's done it multiple times. But this time is actually real, or according to those, it is real. So this was the angle, the backup plan that the WWE reportedly was going to go with. But again, this could change everything if the injury is legitimately real. Obviously, this is upsetting, this is saddening, and this is depressing. Plenty more to come with the hottest, the latest, the greatest, the newest, the best, the most definitive. Because if it weren't for you, there would be no Sean view. What do you think about this angle, the storyline? Will it play through? Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Plenty more to come. It may be the end of the year. It may be only a couple of days left of December, but we're just getting started.